Hello, I'm Kari Samuels, your intuitive counselor and happiness coach with your April forecast. And congratulations, you made it through March Mercury Retrograde. So I know it was very difficult for a lot of people, this Mercury Retrograde, because it was in Pisces, it was a lot of soul searching. I actually had a very nice, relaxing month because I planned for it. I knew it was going to be kind of a soul-searching month and a Mercury retrograde month, and that's why I took a lot off my plate and I rested a lot. And the reason I'm telling you this is not so that you will hate me because I love Mercury retrograde. It's actually because I want to share with you how important it is to know how to pay attention to these celestial weather reports, because there are times when there are these cosmic storms brewing and it's time to, as you know how to prepare for them, you can actually have a really great experience or you can have kind of a funky experience. So this is actually one of those months. April 2019, one of those months. It could be extraordinarily awesome or it could be crazy pants. So there's one thing I can almost guarantee, it's going to be crazy pants in the world. This is a month of karmic revelations and truth being revealed. And the closer you are to that path yourself, the more you're paying attention to yourself, the more you're being true to yourself, the more exquisite this month is going to be. And the further you are away from that, you may get some challenges. So just remember that as this month moves along, as you're experiencing situations and relationships. If things are like blowing up and being a little nutty, it's because you had something you need to recognize. There's something that you need to face that you haven't been facing. And there's some buried emotional stuff that needs to come to the surface. There's some intuition that you haven't been listening to that needs to be woken up to. So this is the kind of month it is. It's all of this like stuff coming to the surface to be seen, to be healed, to be cleared, because the truth is what will set you free. So again, it can be very exquisite. It can be a very joyful time. It can be a time of spiritual nourishment and joy and really deep intuitive connection. And that's what I want to help you through. That's what I want to help you realize this month so that you can avoid some of the drama that you're going to see in the world. I can almost guarantee it, because truth is coming out. It's a time of karmic revelation. And there's a lot of truth that's been buried, right? We'll see a lot more of it. You thought you saw some of that, right? Like, oh my goodness, there is going to be so much more to be revealed of like corruption on a very global level that is going to come out. And so that's why it's so important that you have your spiritual tools this month. So here's our first clue that this is what's happening. So April 2019 is a 16 universal month. Now that reduces to 7. But the 16 is very special because the 16 is a karmic number. It's a number that is about truth and trust. And the karmic side of that is betrayal. Because whenever you are not being truthful to yourself, whenever you aren't listening to your intuition, you may find that that's when you experience betrayal in the outside world. It's because you originally betrayed your own self. You originally betrayed your own intuition. Now again, you're going to see this on a global scale. People you thought you can trust, or maybe you knew you couldn't, it's all going to be coming out now. It's going to be a very big news month. If you thought the world was going crazy, it's going to be a little nuttier. So again, this is why it's very important that you have some soul nourishing tools. It's going to be a month of extreme self-care. And that's what makes it so beautiful, and that's what can make it very exquisite, because if you do that, you're going to be so tuned in and so centered and so in touch with like what's true for you. What a glorious feeling that is. So let's talk about this 16 karmic number. So 16 is a number where it's like sudden, shocking events that can wake you up. It's like lightning, right? Like in the crown kind of thing. So it's like, wow, sudden wake up calls. So again, that can happen when you've been putting yourself in like walls around yourself, or you're trying to be something that you're not, or you're not paying attention to what's really happening. Now, again, if you are actively tuning into yourself, actively like acting on what's right for you, what you know is true for you inside of you, then this 16 energy is very peaceful. It's very relaxing. It is a number that is associated with retreat as well, especially near water. So if you can be in water or use water to like soothe your nervous system, because you're going to be getting a lot of divine downloads. That's what comes with this 16 energy. It's a number of divine downloads and waking up to the truth. So this is why the Mercury retrograde last month was so important, because that was a time of like tuning in. And you may have found that you were very confused because you thought you wanted one thing and then you wanted another. That was the whole point of it. That was what the universe wanted from you in that Mercury retrograde. It's the soul searching. Your mind was connecting with your heart. That's why these Mercury retrogrades this year are in water signs. Now, because you've been mulling about different options and really tuning into what's right, maybe with some confusion, this month, this 16 energy, this 7 energy is here to help you really fine tune that, to really like choose like, that's right for my soul, that is not right for my soul, and be very deliberate about that. And that's how to navigate that 16 energy with a lot of deliberate energy, with consciousness, with truth. And this is when you have a really great experience with it. Okay? Now, in addition to this 16 energy, which is, again, when I talk about karma, I'm talking about things that are patterns that you've experienced lifetimes after lifetime after lifetime. So if you've had the same emotional responses lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, eventually they become subconscious patterns. Eventually they become something that you do automatically, that's in your subconscious, and that's why you get into the same situations over and over again. And that's why sometimes you can't move through things, is because you have these patterns that are pretty much karmic, right? That are buried in your subconscious. And what happens is, the way you move through a karmic pattern is by having something come into your field, your energy, your life, that makes you realize like, hey, I need to wake up to something, because I have the same situation that happens over and over and over again. Maybe I'm the common denominator here. So karma isn't necessarily like bad acts or like being bad or doing bad. It's basically if there's any way that you haven't been being true to yourself, true to your soul, either over the course of many years or many lifetimes, then it becomes a karmic pattern. So this is what this energy this month is helping you wake up to. So this karma, this energy around karma, is also being activated by the planet Saturn, which is known as the Lord of Karma, and Pluto, which is known as the Lord of the Underworld. Now these two characters are getting together and activating the south node of the moon, which has to do with past life karma. Getting the picture here? Yeah, this is a big pattern going all through this month. So I know that sounds really scary, but it's actually not. Because why they're activating the south node, which is your karma, it's also helping illuminate the north node, which is your dharma, where you're headed. So what's happening this month is that Saturn and Pluto are going to be dissolving parts of your life that aren't working anymore. So the areas of your life that will most likely be affected are career and relationship, just the basics, right? Like, and your childhood wounds might come to the surface, or how you feel safe. But basically what this is about is helping you be yourself. And I always say the key to happiness is to be yourself, is to be true to yourself. So as you're dissolving what's not working for you, you can truly focus on what is right for you, what you're being called to do. Now, the moons this month are also very much deliberately guiding you toward that. We have our Aries new moon, and we have a Libra blue moon, which means it's our second Libra full moon in a row. And it's also at 29 degrees. Now, we've had 5 moons in a row at 0 degrees, which is about this like endings and beginnings. So now this second Libra full moon in a row is in the last degree of Libra, the mastery sign. So basically what this is the universe saying to you, you need to master this polarity between how you accommodate people in relationships and how you stand up for yourself and take care of your own needs. So this beautiful energy is helping you just really get rid of any of these facades that you do to please other people in relationship and in work. And this is why they say the truth will set you free, because how liberating is that? Now, Saturn and Pluto are also going retrograde, as well as Jupiter. Saturn and Jupiter are the social planets. Pluto is a transpersonal planet. So this is like really a collective consciousness thing. We're going to be really feeling this. So 3 major planets going retrograde. Retrograde is again about collecting yourself, going back, collecting those parts of yourself and redoing those lessons that those planets are trying to teach you before you move forward. So you see this is it's like an extraordinarily big month. And again, this doesn't need to be scary. The reason you listen to these forecasts is so you can be prepared. And when you prepare, it's kind of like, I remember being in a really big snowstorm that the power went out and the roads were like closed for several days. And we like stayed inside and had our neighbors over and played board games by candlelight. And it was really great. And people went sledding. And it was super fun. So it's like, if you know how to use it, it can be really great. But if you're like trying to move against it and making like that this is just a day in the life, well then that's when you get into some trouble. So here are your 3 major steps for you to navigate this extraordinarily psychic energy. So the first thing, super important, you must take time to yourself and process all of these divine downloads you're getting, because you are going to get a lot of information at once. And this month is all about teaching you not to just like push that aside. That's why we have retrogrades. That's why we have this blue moon. That's why we have the south nodes being activated. That's why it's the 16 month. Everything about this month is saying you need to process all of the information. So if you've had like a tiny little hint that, you know, a friend isn't a vibrational match for you anymore, or a relationship isn't supporting you anymore, or you need to find a new job or really get busy in your career somehow, or raise your rates, or not spend so much time with the people that aren't nourishing you, even if it's your family. All those aspects that you are dissipating your energy, that don't feel good anymore, that's what you need to do right now, is dissolve those relationships and those ways of being, like deliberately, and take that time to focus on yourself, process your feelings, and to just be with yourself in silence, right? Again, this is a wonderful month to actually take a spiritual retreat if you can. Or simply take like daily retreats and meditate and write and journal and like whatever you need to do to process your energy, but you need to have that time to yourself, okay? And even if you have a huge family, lock yourself into the bathroom if you need to and take a bath, take a salt bath. That time to yourself is absolutely essential. Now, the second thing that I highly recommend is for you to nourish your soul. Now, remember, you have to be very deliberate about things that aren't nourishing your soul and getting rid of them, dissolving them. Because if you don't, the universe is going to do it for you. Now, you don't want that, so you're going to be very deliberate about it, right? So as you're letting go of these aspects, even aspects of your identity that aren't true to you, right? As you're letting go of that, how can you nourish your soul more? Do you need to be more creative? Do you want to dance? Do you want to invest in your future somehow? Do you want to create daily activities where you're making yourself feel good instead of like maybe watching television or doing these other things that aren't really nourishing for you. They're more your routine. What is it that your soul has been like really asking you really loudly in that quiet voice, asking you to do? How do you nurture your soul? So basically, a lot of the energy this year is asking you to be very, very deliberate about nourishing your soul and being very deliberate about having those boundaries around you so that you are focusing on what's good for you and not dissipating your energy pleasing other people. Now, Saturn, which is known as the Lord of Karma, is also the planet of boundaries. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, the third essential step for you to navigating this energy is to connect with your angels and your spirit guides so you can get a higher perspective. When you're in this life, when you're just like going through your day-to-day life, you can lose sight of the big picture. And your spirit guides and your angels are your support team. They are always with you. They have a bird's eye view and they know your divine plan. So it may seem very intimidating to connect with your guides and angels, but there's so many simple things that you can do. Now, simply taking that time to yourself and like going through what your intuition is telling you is actually one way of connecting with your angels and guides, because they talk to you through your intuition, right? You can use oracle cards. Maybe draw an oracle card every day and be very deliberate and ask to connect with only the highest level spirit guides and angels, and be very deliberate and draw a card a day. Ask what they want you to know. You can write a letter to your higher self. You can write a letter to your guardian angels. You simply ask through your heart to connect with your angels and your spirit guides, and then wait to receive what the universe is showing you. It could show you through signs and synchronicities, feelings, dreams. Your guides and angels will find a way to communicate with you if you genuinely ask from your heart and expect an answer. Now, of course, I have something to help you. I've created a free manifesting with your spirit guide meditation. It is really, really helpful for you to connect with your spirit guides so that you can know what your next steps are. You can really create a life that you love in a very soulful way. You can get that absolutely free using the link below. And I know it's going to help you. And, you know, if you truly use this month for what it's meant to be, the soul nourishing, truth revealing, getting you back on your path kind of month that it's meant to be, this is a very extraordinary opportunity for you. And this really can set you free. So I want you to go into this month with a sense of joy, with a sense of curiosity and delight, and expect miracles, because miracles await you. So if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends. I know they will appreciate you for it, especially if it's going to help them prepare for this really extraordinary month ahead. And please like it and subscribe to this channel. I have so much more that I want to share with you, so it's going to be very exciting. It's a great year and lots more adventures coming up. So I hope I've inspired you to be the true self that you were meant to be so that you can shine your light brightly in the world. I wish you an extraordinary April and beyond. Lots of love. Bye for now.